Guys, Josh here, and in this video I will be sharing everything you need to know about festivals in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. How to win all of them, what the rewards are, and tips and tricks that will let you make the most out of these special days. As always, leave a like on the video if you learn anything new, and just before we dive into each individual festival, here's some general quick information that will apply to most of them. When you wake up on a festival day, there will be a pop-up telling you the schedule, and most of them will be happening between 12 and 3:59 p.m. You can talk to Felix at any time within that time frame to start the event, and when it's done, time will automatically skip forward to 4 p.m. If you start at 12, you'll finish at 4. If you start at 3:59, you will also finish at 4, which means that the closer to 4 p.m. you start the festival, the more free time you will have in your day. However, be careful, as if you're late, you will miss the festival. You'll have to wait a whole year to try again, and it is good to be early to spend some time socializing. During most of the festivals, all villagers will be there, making it a great opportunity to maybe have a chat friendship boost drink, and to either greet everyone quickly or talk to them one-on-one for even more points. You can also gift them if there's enough time, but just remember, it's not every day you get the chance to interact with as many people this easily. Friendships are so important in this game, and it can be good to plan at least 1 hour for these interactions. As soon as the festival ends, everybody will start walking away, so that's why it's best to do that beforehand. Also, even if you don't particularly care for a festival, maybe you've already won the Flower Festival 2-3 years in a row, don't forget that you always get friendship points with everybody just for participating, and even more when you win, so for that alone, festivals are worth attending. For this video, I split them up into different categories, so first we have the gift giving and social events, then we have the contests, and lastly the minigames. We'll start with the gift giving festivals, and the great thing about these is that they're very straightforward, as the game always tells you in the item description whenever something can be given for a particular festival, eliminating any kind of guesswork. In spring, we have the Flower Festival, which takes place over 2 days. The objective here is to give as many flowers as possible to villagers, but there are a few technicalities to know about if you don't want to mess it up. Until you've spoken to Felix at the plaza between 12 and 3:59 p.m., any flower you give out does not count towards the festival. After the ceremony, you will then have the rest of that day until the next day at 12 p.m. to give as many flowers as you can, and it will stop counting right at 12, even if you've not talked to Felix yet to announce the winners. So make sure you give your flowers inside of that time frame, and for a guaranteed win, you only need to give 20 flowers in total. This is the same year over year, it never gets more difficult. As a reward, you will receive 3 cups of green tea, and if it's your first time winning, like in all of these events, you will also get a trophy. By the way, it is not as important with the green tea here, as there are other ways to obtain it, but whenever you receive food from winning a festival, don't forget to check if it has a blue checkmark or not. If there is no checkmark, it means you don't know that recipe yet, and you should eat it in order to learn. Still in spring, there is also the Honey Day. You can't formally win or lose here, and there is no ceremony to attend. Instead, you just have all day to give honey or honey cakes to any of the romanceable characters, for extra friendship points and some desserts in return. Well, to get the desserts, you will need to have at least 3 hearts with them, and I know this can be a bit tricky in the first year, but you will benefit from making a few friends. For most players, however, Honey Day will be a lot better in year 2, and that is when you should take full advantage of it. What desserts you receive will vary depending on the character you're gifting, as well as if you're giving them honey or honey cake, and I will put a chart on the screen with all of them, so feel free to pause the video if you want to take a look at it. While there are no dishes exclusive to this festival, it will let you learn some of them a lot faster than you usually would. For example, if you give a honey cake to Samir, you will receive a Baumkuchen, and the only other way to learn that recipe is by completing the final request from Lori after reaching 8 hearts with her, which would take a lot longer. Another reason why you should take full advantage of this in year 2, assuming you are not married yet, is because after marriage, honey cake can only be given to your spouse. You can still give honey to everybody else, but the rewards are not as good as with honey cake. If you are running low on honey, Madeline will have some for sale the day of the festival, And for your first year only, Felix will give you 5 along with the recipe for the honey cake, which will require you to save some flour and egg. The next festival in this gift giving category is the Pumpkin Festival near the end of autumn. There's not too much to say about this one. You simply have to give treats to the kids when they show up at your house for trick or treat. As always, you can rely on item descriptions to know what works, but beyond that, it does not matter too much what you make. You will still get friendship points with the kids, and there's no special reward. I like to make puddings as they're very easy, but you can buy a dessert from the cafe, chocolate from Ronaldo, make your own in the windmill, and even something like mochi will work. You will see the kids hanging out in front of your house. Kevin will go in around 11 am, the twins will go around 1 pm. Wait for them inside, there will be a cutscene, and then you'll get to give them the treats. Also, I know it's a bit sad, but the twins will share a single treat, so you only need 2 in total, and 3 when your child is grown. Now, get your storage ready for this next one, Hearth Day. This is near the beginning of winter, and it works almost the same as Honey Day, except for the fact that everyone is included, not only the romanceable characters. You need to give warm dishes here, and the quality or complexity doesn't matter, so I recommend making either egg drop soup, herb soup, or warm milk. You will need a total of 28 dishes if you want to gift everyone, 29 if you have a kid, and as long as you have 3 hearts with a character, they will give you a meal in return. You will most likely learn a lot of recipes here, and it is a very easy and rewarding festival. The only difficult part is trying to fit all of that food in your storage. For this reason, I would try to upgrade the storage the week before if possible, or to start making some space a bit in advance. A few weeks after that, there are 2 more social events, but you can relax for these ones as you won't have to give anything. First is the Starlight Night, and then the New Year's Countdown. For the Starlight Night, keep an eye on your calendar, and the day before, talk to a romanceable character of your choice with whom you have at least 4 hearts, and they will invite you to celebrate with them. There are 3 different parties happening, so if you go with Lloyd, Sophie, June, or Diana, you will go to Felix's house. With Jules, Derek, or Freya, it will be at the cafe, and with Gabriel, Samir, Arata, or Maple, it will be at the hotel. If you're inviting Kagetsu, it will be just you and her at her place. The only thing you have to do is to show up the following day at the right place and the right time, enjoy the cutscene, and you will receive friendship points with everybody present. Once you're married, things change a bit, as you just celebrate at home with your spouse, which feels a bit underwhelming. So if you want to see all of the cutscene and what the other parties look like, I recommend saving your game before inviting anyone. That way you can just reload and invite someone else, unless you don't mind staying single for over 4 years to see everything. A fun little detail for Starlight Night, you can find decorated Christmas trees in your house and a few other places around Zephyrtown the day before and the day of the event. About a week later, on the 31st, there is the New Year's Countdown when you get a big friendship boost with everybody, and for that, you simply have to show up to the plaza after 10 p.m. Keep in mind that the day ends automatically after the countdown, so if you typically like to save at the end of the month to reset in case you don't get any good trends, you should do that before going out for the countdown. The next category of events is where things get a bit more exciting as well as challenging, with the different contests and competitions, where the goal is to present an item or animal of a certain quality. First is the tea party in spring. Here you have to bring either a tea leaf, tea tin, or a fully prepared cup of tea. If you give something of a 2-star quality or under, you will receive a walnut cookie. From 2.5 to 3.5 stars, you'll receive a whole cake, and with 4 stars and above, you'll receive a pineapple pie. This is the only way to get a pineapple pie. It's a pretty valuable dish that makes use of the jewel pineapples, and it also gives a good petting happiness up level 4 buff. While it doesn't really matter whether you give raw leaves, a tin, or a cup of tea, when you make a cup of tea, you will have the opportunity to add extra ingredients such as milk that can increase the star quality, so that could be worth trying if the tea you harvested is not quite at 4 stars. 2 months after the tea party, in autumn we have the juice party, And it's the same rules, but you have to give juice instead of tea. 2 stars and under, you get melon juice. 2.5 to 3.5 stars, you get fruit juice. Which, fun fact, if you're wondering why it's called fruit juice, which sounds very vague, this is actually sangria in the Japanese version. Also, in the original Nintendo DS game, this was a wine festival. But going back to our non-alcoholic juice, with 4 stars, you will get the specialty juice, and that is the only way to obtain it. This juice is a bit of work to prepare, but with a base value of 9,500 G, it is worth it. Things get a bit more complicated during the cook-off and bake-off, where you have to present one main dish and then one dessert, and that will be happening over 2 days at the beginning of autumn. I'll first tell you what the rewards are, then we'll go over the rules and one simple hack to guarantee your victory. Getting first place in the cook-off will get you a trophy, 50 curry powders, plus more importantly, it will teach you the recipe for the supreme curry, and that is the only way you can learn it. Winning the bake-off will get you also a trophy, 50 5-star wheat flour, and the recipe for the whole chocolate cake, and again, this is the only way to learn it. If you successfully get first place in both competitions in the same year, which I know you will after this video, you'll also get a bonus of 30 butter plus. Sadly, I do not know the exact formula that determines if you win or not, but I do know there are 2 important factors, which are the price and the star quality. I did some testing with the bake-off. I tried with a 4.5 stars chocolate cake worth 1,863 G, a 6 stars chocolate fondue worth 1,848 G, and a 7-star cake worth 1,803 G. Even though the chocolate cake was the recipe with the highest price, it only got second place due to its lower quality, while the other 2 desserts got first. That can give you a rough idea of what to aim for, but you should know that there is a point where a very high price can outweigh a low quality. This is where shopping becomes interesting. I went to Nadine's stall at the Bazaar, and I bought this whole cheesecake from her that is worth 2,746 G, as well as this pizzoccheri worth 2,784 G. They are both 0.5 stars, but because of their monetary value, they made me win both competitions, even when I was competing against Nadine herself. Other dishes I bought did not have the same success, so if you don't feel like cooking, remember that this strategy only works with the whole cheesecake and the pizzoccheri. I wish I had more exact numbers, but from this, the cutoff for winning first prize seems to be at around 2,700 with 0.5 stars, and then the more stars you have, the more you can afford to go lower in value. Luckily, you just have to worry about this once a year, but other contests like the crops and animal shows will occur every single month, except in the very first spring. For each type of crops and each type of animals, there are 3 ranks, and you cannot skip them, so you have to do bronze, then silver, and lastly, gold. Winning bronze increases the maximum quality for your crops or animal products from 5 to 6 stars. Silver brings that maximum up to 7 stars, and gold makes it a brand name, tripling its value. Let's focus on the crops show for now. And a big issue here is that if you want every crop to get gold, it will take you about 35 years. Realistically, that's probably not going to happen for most of us, and so we have to carefully decide which crops to prioritize. There is no hard rule here, feel free to adapt things to your own strategy and how you like to play, but here are a few things to consider. Crops such as wheat, rice, and even potatoes are used as ingredients in so many recipes, plus they grow 3 seasons out of 4, making them pretty safe and obvious picks. If you make a lot of tea, that is also a good option, and even though the specific tea leaves change each season, and you do have to enter the correct one for the season at the crops show, all of them will get the upgrade, so you will benefit for the rest of the year. Fruit trees are also some of my favorites to rank up because you plant them once and their quality never goes down. A 6 or 7 stars fruit tree will keep that quality forever, so it is less maintenance than other crops that might require you to keep a stock of high quality seeds if you want to stay above 5 stars. So multi-season crops and fruit trees are great to get to the silver rank for the 7 stars if you can, but what about gold? With the gold rank, your crop will become a brand and its value will triple. However, that bonus does not carry over if you process it or cook with it, making it more valuable to sell as is. For something like wheat that is used mostly for cooking, it is probably not worth it, but with more valuable crops, things are different. For example, let's take watermelon. The base value of a regular watermelon is 540G, but use the watering rare crop buff every day, and you will end up with a ton of Hearth watermelons, for which the base value is 1620G. At 7 stars, this goes up to 4860, and if you make it a brand, you do that times 3, and you're over 14,000. If watermelons are ever trending, you can add another 30% on top of that, plus any bonuses you have with your stall at the Bazaar, and if you have the basement, you could do that all year long. This sounds very exciting, but there's still a problem, and it is that watermelon can only be submitted during the summer crops show, so this plan would take you at least 3 years. Alternatives could be melon, which grows in summer and autumn, cabbage, which grows in spring and winter. It would still be a long-term strategy, and figuring all of this out would have to be its own video, but it can certainly be worth thinking about. No matter which strategy you're going for, if you want a guaranteed win, you will need at least 2 stars for bronze, 5 stars for silver, and 7 stars for gold. Below that, you can still win, but it becomes a random chance, so you might want to save just before you go presenting your crops and reload if it fails. When it comes to the animal show, it works mostly the same way, and it is simpler to choose what you want to rank up since there are fewer options. I would suggest prioritizing the milk and egg animals, so cows, buffaloes, chickens, and silky chickens, as the quality of wool doesn't matter when buying clothes, and this is most likely not what you'll make the most money with. If you're still not sure which animal to go for at any given time, it is a good idea to check which one is the closest to hitting their maximum quality. For example, if your chicken's eggs are already at 5 stars, and your cow's milk is still at 4, it would be wiser to rank up your chickens so that you can start getting 6 stars eggs while your cows are still working their way up to 5, because if you go for the cows and they're not getting that maximum quality anyway, it won't make a difference for a while. To enter the animal show, an animal needs to be an adult, not pregnant, and for a guaranteed win, they will have to be healthy. They will need a combined total of 5 friendship and happiness hearts and stars for bronze, 10.5 for silver, and 16.5 for gold. For our last category of festivals, we have minigames. The pet show occurs every summer and winter. You enter a pet of your choice, and follow the commands to get as many points as possible. The more training your pet has, which is indicated by the flame icons, the more advanced tricks they'll be able to do during the pet show, giving you more points. You can train your pet once a day using a pet treat, and I would suggest taking advantage of a pet training up buff if you can, as that will make the process much faster. For a guaranteed gold trophy, you need to get more than 330 points, but there is a random chance of winning with less. Unfortunately, the reward is very underwhelming. It's the trophy, 50 pet food, extra training experience for your pet, and of course the relationship points with all of the villagers as always. If you get the second or third place, you simply get less of everything, but you're not really missing out. There is a title that unlocks for winning the pet show with all 8 pets, but that's pretty much it. Also, every summer and winter, there is the horse derby, and the same thing here, the rewards are underwhelming. It's the trophy, horse treats, training points for your horse, and friendships. There is also a title which will take you at least 3 years to get, as you need to win all 6 courses, and there are 3 in summer and 3 in winter. In summer, the goal is to jump over the hurdles, and as you do more consecutive jumps without messing up, you get more points. In winter, the goal is to catch as many bells as you can. As your horse gains more training, it will become faster and have more stamina, making things easier. You can train your horse by riding around regularly, but it will go up a lot faster by practicing for the derby, which you can do up to 3 times a day when the weather is good, by interacting with this sign in the equestrian park. Not only will that make your horse much better, it will also allow you as the player to get more familiar with the course. Otherwise, there is no secret or special technique for winning. Just keep practicing, and I will put a chart with the points requirements for a guaranteed win on the screen so that you know how you're doing before the real competition. So these are all of the festivals in Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, and you're looking forward to learning more about this game, I have an entire playlist of guides and tips and tricks videos that you can watch. Let me know what your favorite festival is. Leave a like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.